Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Marketing. My name is Kim Brits and my wonderful crazy, I'm going to change it to wonderful crazy co-host, Bjorn Salsone. Bjorn, how are you?
Hello! I want to ask you, why did you introduce me with like this naughty smile on your face? I feel like...
Because I was going to call you crazy.
Oh, is it because you call me crazy? I thought I was like, Kevin, you have a birthday coming up. Is that something that you're hiding while I just hint at it? Just putting it out there.
Oh, yes. It's your birthday this month, right? I'm so
yes,
bad.
and we're going to be doing on the show. It's like, I was going to be like the birthday show, but it's not about my birthday. It's about everyone else. But I would... virtual cupcake. I do expect...
I'll have a little streamer and a thing. I'll throw like stuff at the screen, like, yay.
And then we can have bubbles or something. I don't know, like a bottle of wine. What do you think?
Yes, I will celebrate.
We have like a whole bottle, like fantastic. But Kev, we're not here to talk about my birthday, are we?
No, we are here to talk to a very special guest who is a friend of mine and telling us...
Okay, Kevin, he's my friend too, like sharing's caring.
Like, friend of ours, like, okay.
Friend of... Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay, cool. A really interesting story. So please introduce him.
All right. So today in studio, we're so excited. We have Dr. Carel Piet van Eeden. I was like, it's like a big name. I like it. And what's cool about him, like something that people don't know, he's a gifted pianist, and his knowledge of sound and vibration adds a unique dimension to his healing and counseling practice. When he's at home, he's indulging in a whole lot of other stuff, which we'll get into, and making music. But the cool thing about that is I have been at the Golding Institute in Houghton in Johannesburg, and I have to tell you, I was very, very impressed. Some other stuff that people don't know, he does holistic life coaching, and I thought that was an interesting word. He got his qualification from the University of Sedona, and he's registered as a doctor, and you're going to have to help me with this, the ethnomedicine. Mm-hmm. If I got that wrong, just redirect me later. Yeah. But what's so cool about this guy, and I have the biggest respect for him, is that he's got such a great attitude. He survived breast cancer twice. Yes, we said it, breast cancer, and he's a male. And that's often a taboo subject that people don't talk about. So, Dr. Carel Piet van Eeden, welcome to Lunchtime Marketing.
Hey guys, thank you so much. It's an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you, Carel. And don't you want to just clarify that for us? Like, what is that whole title mean? Because people are going, what?
Okay,
so what it is you do, and sort of like, what is that?
Sure. Ethnomedicine basically is the study of ethnic medicine, and it is using natural medicines in order to bring healing to the patients. So you are basically a traditional doctor. We fall under the same laws of as the Sangomas.
Oh wow,
yes.
that's really interesting. And yeah. You're a doctor in this medicine now. So it's do you? I mean, what does it encompass? So just give us a sort of when you say
the context, yeah,
like in context to. So do you use herbs? Do you use what is the whole thing? Like, what does that mean?
Sure. So ethnomedicine is very much herbal and supplementation. We call it nutraceutical based. Okay. And you get different
nutraceutical.
Yes. Yes. So pharmaceutical is manufactured medicine, and nutraceutical is natural medicines. And what we do with the nutraceuticals, or let's take ethnomedicine, you get different views and different approaches. So a lot of people would use herbal extracts or make their own whole plant medicine. My focus is on a scientific approach, which is integrative medicine. And in integrative medicine, what we say is you want to do for the patient whatever is best for them. There's no one size fits all treatment for a specific disease. You look at the patient, you look at their lifestyle. Lifestyle is one of the most important things for me when it comes as a practitioner. You can't just go to the doctor and say, stick out your arm and say, put something in my body to make me better. You have to take complete control of your life and the doctor is an advisor. So we look at that. We look a lot at lifestyle management, like I said, and mindset. The body, the human being is not just body. You are body, mind, spirit. So we combine different modalities, and again, according to what the patient needs. And that's ethnomedicine.
Fantastic, I love that.
Wow. So I
It's
feel
such
like
a, it's such an
you-
encompassing, because it gives you such a complete view of, like, you're involved with how this person's system and beliefs work, like how their brain puts information together, but also giving them practical tools and useful things that steer away from just chemical based substance, which is lovely. I think that's a fantastic way. So, which reminds me, I need to come see you then.
Yes.
So, but Kevin, you remember when you arrive at his practice, you have to call him Dr. Carel Piet van Eeden. Like the full name. It's a whole big name. And just, no, that's really cool. I might just call you that in future. Hello, Dr. Carel Piet.
But I mean, but part of that, because Carl, you also do Reiki. I mean, that's how you and I mean, Carl and I, like, he messaged me one day and said, hey, do you want to do some Reiki? I was like, yeah, please, I really want to do it, and had some amazing results from that. But don't you want to work us through some history? So tell us about your history. Let the people listening out there get to know who you are. Tell us, sort of preface everything for us, and then how you came about to doing what you do today.
Okay, sure. And that is a calling, what I do today. I strongly believe in that. So I started work as a legal business analyst. So I was at a law firm, loving what I did. And it was finding solutions for people, or making people's lives easier. And then I met Dr. Craig Golding, and 6 months later, I had the diagnosis of breast cancer for the first time. And it was about 10 years ago. So to get the diagnosis, I felt a lump in the breast. And I went for a scan called a thermoscan, or thermography, where they check the amount of heat that the body sends out. And according to that, they can find dense cell masses, which is then usually cancer. Went for the biopsy. Now, having a needle pushed into your nipple and having somebody work it in and out is not fun. It is one of...
Well, I've done a nipple piercing before, but I don't think it's as bad as that.
No, it's slightly different.
Yes.
So, and it also, it kind of, the whole thing of breast cancer and men kind of, it grabs you. So the results came back, it was pre-malignant. So luckily I did not have to have chemo radiation, but it had to be removed. So I went for a lumpectomy. Of course, my medical aide at that time sent a message on the day of the surgery saying that we are not paying, or we're retracting authorization for how can men get breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
I don't even have words. That's crazy.
Yes. In the end, they said, no, we would have paid, but we see it as a disease where you would have had to have the tumor for a year, or it must become fully malignant. So interesting times. Interesting journey to go through. Thereafter, I've always been interested in energy medicine and in healing. So I've been doing Reiki. I did a course in that before then. And I was busy working towards a PhD in a very arbitrary line of study, or out there, it is metaphysical parapsychology. So ghosts and spirits and all of those things. After getting the tumor and surviving that, I realized that the calling is more in helping other people, because once you have cancer, there's a fear that you cannot explain to anybody. You go through intense emotions, and I just felt that I needed to help other people. And so I was lucky enough to then be able to change my course of study, into the holistic life counseling. Then I joined the practice of Dr. Golding and the Golding Institute, and we then started working together. So Craig does the very medical side. Kevin, you mentioned earlier about not doing the chemical route. We're not against the chemical route at all. Okay. We are pro whatever is going to work.
Yeah.
My dad had prostate cancer, and we sent him for brachytherapy, which is radiation, because for him it would have worked best, or it was best. Yeah, so then started working, and because of the fact that the Institute does a lot of training as well, so we teach other doctors how to practice integrative medicine. We are supposed to then be on top of new things and new toys. So that's why when you come visit me, you see all the pretty lasers and the stem cell lab and all of those fun things. We love the toys. So yeah, and then we've been working together for 8-9 years, and last year I felt another lump beside on the other nipple, or under the other nipple. And because I knew the process that I was going to go through, I hid the tumor from everybody for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And
why is that? Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a really important thing just to address, knowing what you're going to know. Is it the fear of the pain, the stress, the anxiety, or why would you do that? It's kind of
and you grapple with yourself. How did I get it again? Because after it was removed the first time, I went and did genetic testing, and we found out exactly why I got cancer in the first place. And I got complacent. So I stopped taking my preventative meds and stopped doing my drips. And you go through this thing of, oh gosh, why again? And also I didn't want to go through the process of the medical aid, the operation, and being seen as a patient. I think that's a big thing.
So can I ask you this, like, people will listen to this and go, wait a minute, like, if you knew what you did, you are a doctor, a Sangoma, why would you not just embrace it? And I think what we need to just highlight here is that you're human. Exactly. You have a title because you've studied, you've got education, and da-da-da-da-da. But I think people need to just realize that a doctor is human too. A doctor has emotions, and there's the fears. Like, they go through real human emotions. But I'm correct to say that?
You are. And because we know the healing journey that is involved, you sometimes, doctors make the worst patients. So it is very true. So you know what's going to happen when you lie on the table and they cut you open. And
fair enough.
So you don't really want to go through it. But then we got a new toy, a sonar, and we were messing around with it.
Is that the one you showed me with all the light, with the red and the green and the blue and that?
That's the laser.
Oh, is that the laser? Okay, got it.
Yeah. So the sonar is just to measure things. And I said, well, have a look. And the tumor was already 2-3 centimeters in size, which is quite,
Sure, that's quite big.
For tumors, that's big.
Wow.
So quickly went to the same surgeon that I saw initially, and biopsy. This time I wanted to faint because he had to do the biopsy twice, and went into surgery a week later.
Wow.
So,
Great. And Carel, what was that process like in terms of the healing? Was that tough? Was it long? Was it all the fears that you had of why you hid it for so long? Or was it actually, did it surprise you and actually was like, well, it's not as bad?
So I wanted to kick myself afterwards because it wasn't that bad. And I knew it wasn't going to be that bad. And that's the fascinating thing of the human mind, because you can create this monster in your head that doesn't exist.
Right.
I also, one thing that I didn't mention is I didn't want my family to worry. So
Fair enough.
I kind of hid the operation, or the fact that I had gone for the tests until the last minute. And that got me a proper scolding.
Wow.
I can imagine. So just to
Wow.
put this together, this happened the first time. I mean, you were working where you were working. This happened to you. Eventually, going from that process, is that how you got to where you are today? You like literally said, "No, actually, I want to be able to help people,
Yes,
and help them better, and show them how to do this, or
definitely.
get through it at least."
Exactly, because a lot of times when somebody goes through the journey of cancer, for lack of a better word, you feel
Yeah, it's
like a
unfortunate, yeah.
slab of meat lying on a table, and you feel like a number or just a file number. And what we do in our practice is we want to change that for people. You actually become a person, you become a human being, or you are still a human being, and we try and treat you like that. People oftentimes get difficult because of fear, and you need to understand that as a practitioner. It's not that the person is difficult towards you, it is the fear that drives them to lash out.
Yeah.
And that is where it became calling to make this my business, is to help people through this journey.
Right.
Yeah. And what I did was small things. Create a file for every patient. The first time you come and see us, I give you a file with things I wish I had known.
Oh,
And
that's kind.
things that are practical.
Like what though? Give us an example.
Recipes. So because we are integrative, we focus a lot on the fact that your food is your first form of medicine.
Wow.
Now people go, the big rule that our Mexican colleagues who are amazing with cancer therapy says is no wheat, no dairy, no sugar. No meat, no dairy, no sugar.
So
no
vegan.
Meat. Yes, for cancer treatments.
Oh wow.
So now people come in South Africa, if you cut out those three things, the question is, what do I eat?
Oh, no, there's amazing vegan dishes.
Exactly. And
It's like incredible.
introducing people to that. A lot of people love sugar, and they crave sugar when they have cancer.
Really?
Because
Why? All the hormone changes.
sugar feeds cancer.
Oh.
That's, yeah, and causes it at some level. But yes. So how do you then replace chocolate? So one of the recipes in there is make coconut oil with cacao and stevia, and
yeah, totally. I love that stuff. Totally my
it's a
vibe.
delicious thing. Yeah. And the thing with when you have cancer, you don't want to think about all these things. You just want to survive, and that's what the file is for. So another thing that I do in there is where you list your questions for your doctor when you have your visit and the answers, because when you sit in front of the practitioner, you oftentimes forget what you wanted to ask them.
Oh wow, fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also the family afterwards would ask you, what did they say? Now, our cancer consultations, when they see Dr. Golding, is an hour long, and he talks a lot, and it's a lot of technical information, which is really important information, and people forget what was said. Usually what happens after an initial consult, I then spend another hour or two with the patients just to unpack and make sure that they understand everything. And we'll show them the facility. We will show them the lasers and all of the options, so that when they go home, I always tell them that you don't have to be our patient. But when you leave here, I want you to be able to make an informed decision about your health.
Yeah. So you keep mentioning these lasers. So tell us about the lasers. Like I've seen the laser. I haven't had the laser therapy, but I've sat in the chair.
Yes.
And it literally looks like a little rainbow machine, and it has. I had a joke there, but I'd rather not say.
Let's not do it.
You know, when anyone does that, Kevin, now we're like, hold on.
Yeah.
What is it you were
No,
going
it's
to
just
say?
rainbows and unicorns, it's like, but moving
It
on.
is.
But it really looks like a little rainbow machine. But Carl,
Yeah.
tell us, what is light therapy? What is the lasers for? What is that all about?
And how did you use that in terms of helping you? Because that's really the title of what we spoke about, like how I use my business to help heal cancer. Let's just kind of unpack that for reviewers to go, that's what they're talking about.
Sure. So the laser is rainbow therapy, and the rainbow machine. I love that. I'm actually going to share it with the people who developed it. I don't believe in chance.
Copyright, right?
Copyright.
I'll send you an invoice.
Okay, thank you. So we met Dr. Michael Weber in a taxi in Kuala Lumpur several years ago, and he introduced us. He actually developed the Weber machine that we use in our practice, and the technical term for this is photobiomodulation. So photo light or photons modulating the biome, modulating the body or the life.
Yeah.
So what it is billions of photons that you are injecting into your patient. So instead of using a fluid like you would do a drip with vitamin C, we would put a piece of fiber optic cable into the vein and then shine the laser into the vein. And as the blood flows past, you treat the whole body.
Sure.
It looks like Star Trek. I actually saw some of the Star Trek episodes, and they use lasers that look pretty much the same.
Okay.
And Einstein said, the medicine of the future is frequency, and this is what the laser is. It is frequency medicine. So the color therapy, a lot of people see it as normal color therapy, wherein you use a red light or a green light or a yellow light to change the psyche and the emotions. This is slightly different. So the color is only a byproduct of the wavelength. So we have different wavelengths, and then each of those colors or wavelengths gives us a different effect. When it comes to cancer, the thing that the laser does in the body is it energizes and grows. Those are the two main things, and then the variations in there. So if you were to give the laser as it is to somebody with cancer, you have a chance of making the cancer grow. And we don't want that, of course. Yeah. So the very smart people then they develop different dyes and colors, colorants that you would give your patient. And that's some of the therapy that I did then is curcumin, which is turmeric. We give you the turmeric in a drip, and it stains the cancer cells yellow. Yes.
Okay.
So turmeric in own right fights cancer. It brings down inflammation. It is a beautiful, beautiful medicine.
Okay.
And then it stains cancer cells and viral cells. We'll get to the viruses later, I think, but it also stains viruses yellow. If you then shine the blue laser into the vein, the easy way to explain this is that it causes a small explosion in the stained cells. Okay. And in that way, you kill your circulating tumor cells. Now, those are the buggers, because what they do is, I always explain cancer like being, it's like a plant. And one of the first things that this plant does is it spreads seeds into the body. And those seeds are looking for other places to take hold. So if you can kill those, you have a big part of your war is won. If we then have to go and do more intensive therapy, we would inject the tumor with a green or a blue dye. And we usually do that if it's inside the body, we do it under sonar or X-ray guidance, in theater or with a radiologist. And we then put the fiber optic cable into the tumor, and we blast the cancer from the outside, from the inside out and from the outside in. It's quite an effective therapy without having all the side effects of chemo and radiation. That being said, again, not against those two.
So you can use the laser instead of chemo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really interesting. Because I've always, you know, I remember when, I don't know if you still do it, but I still refer to you as the cancer coach. So, you know, like if you're going through this process, if you're going, because my mom passed away from stage 4 liver cancer, and the sad thing about it is you go through the trauma of seeing someone die. And there was no one at that point kind of going, oh, well, here's a cancer coach who could help you grieve, who could help you, or could help the person work through their own trauma that they're going through. Because it does create a lot of psychological trauma that also sort of speaks to that. Carel, one of the things that I want to just get your professional opinion about is cancer for men, or breast cancer for men. Can you just give us some insight on that? Because I don't think people, first of all, how much awareness is there about that? And also, what are the medical aids doing about that? Has it changed since you last spoke about it? Do they cover these things now? Is it an accepted form of cancer for everyone, or all men at least? Can you give us some insights on that?
Sure. So, yes, the medical aids have changed their stance. They paid for my operation last year, so yes, that's good news.
Yeah, fantastic.
More and more men are getting breast cancer, and
really,
yes.
Wow.
And the reason for that, and one of the biggest reasons for that, is estrogen dominance. Yeah. So, and unfortunately, when we drink tap water, that water is not extremely clean. They don't take out estrogen or hormones from our drinking water.
Yeah.
When women are on the pill, they pee out estrogen. And we drink that water. And that's why in men, we're seeing more and more of this happening, that breast cancer and hormonal cancers are coming up. Of course, you get the other things. All the pesticides are also hormone-based. And if you have a genetic predisposition with your trigger, chances are you're going to get it.
Okay. I'm so grateful that I don't drink tap water. But I boil it, or I'm like it's bottled water. I always go some big brands whose names you're not mentioning because they're not paying for the show. I'd be like, y'all make a lot of money out of me because I'm just I support you faithfully. Yes. So crazy. Carl, can I just ask you, one of the things that I always highlight is the fact that, and I lost a very dear person to cancer as well. But I go, you still, if you were a mom before cancer, you're still a mom when you have cancer. You still have kids or dad. When you are a husband or a wife, you still, if you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, you still that when you have cancer. So there's an expectation, last week on the show, we had a financial advisor who was talking about how you can plan to protect. But say you didn't do it because you were getting around to it. It was on your admin list. Just tell us through, how did you navigate that space in business? Did you take time out? Did you keep working? Did you just need, it's important for people to understand there's a practical element of life continues. People expect you until they know, and I've also, as we've seen, some days are great days with people in the context of you'd never know. And other days it's okay, today is one of those days.
Yes.
Practical business point of view, did you use all of your business techniques to helping you this time? Did you go the more traditional medicine with Craig? Yeah, just kind of expand on that a little bit.
Okay, and it's a very important point. I always tell people that life doesn't stop because you have cancer. You still need to live, and 100%. you don't suddenly become a cancer patient, and that is your identity. So you still need to carry on. So I was home for a couple of days and then back at work. I'm a bit of a worker, not a bit of a workaholic. I am a full-blown workaholic. So it is what it is. So I was carrying on. I do a lot of admin and planning and writing. So I didn't need to take a lot of time out. But I also if I were tired, I would go home and sleep. And that is the most important thing. Also, the fun thing of being able to come back to the practice is that post-surgery, we have a lot of the tools that we can then use to speed up the healing process.
Right.
So I did hyperbaric oxygen every morning after the therapy. So I spent an hour in the oxygen tank. I would also, laser myself. And just make sure that the healing process or the body is in an optimum state for healing.
Got it. Okay. Wow.
So speaking about the optimum state, Carl, just to add to what you're saying now, don't you want to just touch on what are some of the options that men have at the moment? Like, what are things that we have in terms of checking cancers, but also how do we keep ourselves healthy? Like, how do we get to, what are we cutting out? What are we being aware of? What are we avoiding? What are we starting to, what parts of our diets do we start looking at? And what are those options?
So when we train doctors, one of the favorite sayings is the best way to treat cancer is not to get it. And it's very true, because the body takes a massive knock. So what we do as for testing, if you feel something, don't be scared to explore your nipples and your breasts and your testicles, for that matter. I mean, that's the bigger call is testicular cancer.
I mean, that's remember what it is.
Exactly. So you need to self-check as much as women need to self-check. Men need to do the same. If you do feel something, have it checked out. Don't do the ostrich in the sand thing that I did. It doesn't help in the long run. So have it checked out, and then know your options. So you don't always have to go for the chemo and radiation. So find something that works for you. And that's really important for me. Chemo, radiation are we have about 17 other options.
And people don't know that, right?
They don't.
Okay, I've got to go for chemo now. Oh, I've got to go for radiation now. And I'm not minimizing chemo, radiation. I'm just saying that's, I suppose, the commercially sold, that's the way you go to stop cancer.
Yes.
Not.
I watched the last episode of Ratchet last night, and when she mentioned mistletoe, it's one of our treatments. It is actually a full treatment for cancer.
What is it?
Mistletoe.
No, I don't remember that in the episode. I have to go rewatch Ratchet now.
Yes.
Do you mind if I just exit quickly? I'm just going to check it out.
So that's the thing. And then lifestyle management. Make sure that you don't get it. So if you want to, you can do genetic tests. We have some beautiful, beautiful labs in South Africa who are expanding into the US, and that tells you a bit of the quality of the work that is done here, where you can check your predisposition. So when I did mine retrospectively, and I saw that I have a predisposition because I don't detoxify properly, and I don't have enough methylation. So you can look at those things, and what we do then is, through our lifestyle, we can then mitigate the risk. So broccoli, with everything, if you can eat broccoli every single day, you help your liver to detoxify from heavy metals, or more from the bad toxins, the bad estrogen metabolites. So it's a practical thing. We love meat. Meat can be, especially if you put it on the fire, it becomes carcinogenic, the little black bits. So have broccoli with that, have onion with that. You don't have to cut out fun, but just do it in a very aware way. And that's something that I tell the patients here as well. I tell them, grow your own medicine, grow your own food.
Wow.
And that's where you start then bringing, and my passion in the practice is the mindset and the spirituality behind everything. So when you do the broccoli, or when you grow your own broccoli, you know that it's going to be medicinal for you. And you prime your subconscious to then accept that. I also ask many of the patients, do you bless your food? And it's beautiful to see how many people irrespective of religion, just on a spiritual level, they are aware and mindful of their food. And it's
that's
something
part
you
of
put
the whole
into your mouth.
consciousness movement that's happening as we speak, you know.
Yes, yes.
Just
And then the
consciousness
second,
and mindfulness. So
yeah. So then I ask them the question, do you bless your medicine? You're going to swallow it, it's going to go through the same route, but yet you think you build up this resistance, and you just see it as a handful of tablets to keep me alive. And it's so much more than that.
Wow, there's so much more questions, and we're running out of time.
We are, but I mean, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, specifically around mindset, because Carl and I both also do NLP and certified in NLP, and that's quite specifically working around subconscious, what meaning you give something. And the fact, you know, the one thing that stood out for me about today's conversation was because you have cancer doesn't mean you're just a cancer patient. And I think people slot themselves as like, oh, I'm a cancer patient.
That's their identity.
And suddenly they move through that identity, and it just means death. And there's lots of people that have come out the other side of cancer and have survived cancer and have beaten cancer.
Like you,
I think it's right here, right? So, but I think it's that mind shift, that mentality, and everything you're saying, you know, all of it lends itself to living a better lifestyle and really understanding, being aware. I mean, COVID has been a wonderful example of how awareness needs to change, and how we use our space, our time, who we engage with, how we engage, how clean we are. You know, it's all of this is sort of showing signs and symptoms to the same thing the whole time. And the more we know about it, the more we talk about it, the more we can impress upon making changes like that. So, yeah, I mean, we are running out of time, but I think it's a fantastic conversation. So tell us what inspires you on a bad day. I know it's to like side note, because I think that's, you know, especially dealing with a heavy topic like this, when you, again, like mind shifting, when you get back on board with your brain, like, what is that? How do you get up, and how do you go, okay, cool, I've been here, I've done that, been kicked down, got up. What was that like? What is that motivation for you?
Sure. Two things. The first is spirituality. So I am a practicing Catholic priest. So I focus a lot on the spiritual aspects of life. And then the other one is a very dear friend of mine, Lana Jacobson. And Lana has a myriad of diseases. She has myasthenia gravis. She has cancer. She has Parkinson's. She has a viral infection, and she is the most phenomenal woman that you will ever meet, because she is bubbly, she is lovely. And I just think about Lana, or I would send her a message. And that, and then of course the honor of walking this journey with people. That's what gets me up every morning, is being able to walk this journey with people, and to know that they don't have to go through it alone.
That's amazing.
Wow. Incredible. Sure, thank you for sharing that. I feel like there's so much more we want to explore, because
I was just going to say that this conversation,
it's your counseling and all of that, and the mindset, and how do families support people that have cancer, and. So maybe we just need to get you back into the show again at some point, just to go, let's continue that conversation, and let's just talk about it, because actually I think that's important. Anything, when it's the person who's going through the tough stuff, like there's the family that goes, or the friends that go, how do I? And I think sometimes some people, depending on your love language, might want to nurture more than what the person actually wants to receive. And then that's a whole separate conversation to deal with. But let's see what we can do. We'll have to get you back. Keep talking.
So essentially, Carl, thank you for joining us. Bjorn, if you want to just share with us what's coming up next week. I know that's an interesting conversation too. And
yes, next week, it's super exciting actually. Next week, we've got a guy called Torsten, German, based in Cape Town, and he got testicular cancer, which is like, the big highlight of November. And he started an NGO from that. It's now become his full-time business called Love Your Nuts. So yes, he's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, I think, as well. So yeah, it was very exciting to hear from him. I'm actually hoping to catch him in Cape Town this evening at an event and just to have a bit of a pre-conversation. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
So the business is called Love Your Nuts.
Love your nuts, Kevin. Love your nuts. All of
I
them.
love my
your
nuts. I'm like, I really love my nuts. I'm like, but let's not
get in line and pick a number. Me too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. So, and Bjorn, if I want to get a hold of you, where do we go?
The easiest is just to Google my name, Bjorn Salsone, BJRNSALSONE, and you will just find me everywhere. There's a picture, probably me or Bubbles smiling at a media event. I just did a show with Jenny Morris on Monday, so it was a cooking show. It was very exciting.
I saw, yes.
Yeah, happy day. And Kevin, where do we find you? I mean, because I can just tell you, just enter lunchtime series, enter leadership design, and put in Kevin Brits with an S, not a Z.
No, with a Z, not an S.
Not an S. Sorry, I was like, yes. No, other way. And you find him, right? Am I correct? Did I say it well?
That's it. Yeah, just put it in all in Google.
Do I get like 2 birthday presents now? Is that like
2? I promise.
Fantastic.
Carel, to end off with our wonderful guest today, where do we get hold of you? Where do we find out more about what you're doing and how you're doing it? And how do people get hold of that?
Okay. So the practice is easy to contact. The number is 011 483 1080. Yeah. And if you want more information on the Institute, we do regular podcasts. So there's a weekly podcast that comes out, goldinginstitute.com or yourwellbeing.co.za.
There we go. goldinginstitute.com and yourwellbeing.co.za. Carel, Dr. Carel Piet van Eeden, thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing some valuable information.
Thank you. It was good fun.
Yes, it was. And we're gonna do that piano evening. We said we're gonna.
Yeah, that'll be good. Soon.
I want to be there.
You're invited. We're gonna have.
I just want to be there. I'll harmonize with you, Kevin.
There we
I'll
go.
harmonize.
Awesome.
Love it.
Guys, have a wonderful day and thank you for chatting. Chat to you soon.
Great. Take care, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Bye.